Okay, NXT. Now, we're very close to deadline. I will probably make a recording of it. Since there will be no pay-per-views from SmackDown or Raw, nothing, it will be NXT only, generally speaking. So I am also going to make this kind of short because, some things were done here. That's setting up for the deadline pay-per-view. That's obvious. But there's things I'm going to leave out, like what happened with Abba Fire and Eily Dawn. Yes, I could talk about the match. I don't really need to. Only thing we need to know what's going to happen with, I think it was Biggs who's got that letter from Akita James, I believe. She is after him, not after Jensen. I could be wrong. I can't remember right now. I'm kind of blanking. So I'm going to leave that out because I want to see how far they're going to go with that. And when we're going to be honest here, next 3 weeks, we'll probably get a Raw this coming week. But after that, Christmas is going to be pre-recorded, and New Year's will be pre-recorded for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, which NXT is always pre-recorded. But there's nothing going to be very major that's going to develop anything. I'll be surprised if there is. So this is what you're going to get. So we get our first triple threat for the Iron Survivor Challenge for the men. We got Von Wagner, Axiom, and I gotta be honest here. You want to know who I really wanted to win? I probably thought it was going to be Axiom. I did. That's what I was thinking. But the person I truly wanted to win was Andre Chase of Chase U. I finally remembered Andre's name. I gotta say this. The story for Andre, I like him. I like Andre. I don't know what it is. Could it be because he has his own group? Could it be that the fans do like him? Is it because of the story without Duke Hudson there? One of those I like. I'm not saying I hate the Duke Hudson storyline, that he's trying to get control of Chase U. It's obvious. He's trying to get into Chase U to the point where I do believe that he's going to try and oust Andre Chase. That's what I think is going to happen. But it's going to eventually happen. And I do believe that. But the person I really wanted was him. But I probably thought Andre was not going to win. It was going to be Axiom. Because there was no way Von Wagner was going to get another shot. I just didn't believe it. And I was right. Von Wagner didn't win. It was Axiom. So I was not too surprised, but this is what we get. Now, the next match, which really, look, when it came to Quinn versus Tony D'Angelo, did you actually believe Quinn was going to win? No. A lot of people like Tony D'Angelo. I like Tony D'Angelo. He's like a spicy meatball. The moment you chew it, you know there's something there. And there was no way after 10 weeks being out because of his knee, they were going to let him job. He was going to be destroyed by a looking good competitor. There was no problem with that. Now, when he called out a little bit of Wesley when he came out, I wasn't surprised about it because Wesley was the one who injured him. It's not surprising. But then when Dijak was on the Titantron, you know now that it's going to be interesting. Dijak wants that title. And when it comes down to it, Tony D'Angelo wants pretty much Wes first. But Wes wants to get Dijak first because he attacked him the way he did. So now, after seeing Wes managing to get out of the ring very well, look, I love Wes. When he was Desmond Xavier, I love Desmond. He has charisma. He has talent. And I'm glad to see him as North American champion. No problem with it. I'm not having a problem with it. I liked how he got out of the ring, rolling up like he's about to fall on his head, but then he managed to get out of the ring. That's Wes. That's how he is. Now, the question's going to be, how are they going to structure the story? I don't know if it's going to be structured correctly. I'm kind of worried because you got Tony D'Angelo, who does not need to lose right now in the next couple of weeks to the couple of months after coming back. Then Dijak doesn't need to lose. And Wes doesn't need to lose. I'm sorry, all three of them don't really need to lose. They need to build them up going into a pay-per-view maybe 3 or 4 months from now. You need to build up Dijak more. You need to build up Tony because he just came back. And I just feel like they're going to rush it. I'm worried. Next, Apollo and Braun go fishing. I felt that segment in the diner was not going to be the end of it. I felt that there was going to be something. When they showing Braun at the lake again, I thought instantly, either he's going to be in a boat himself, and that will be Apollo, coming up to him and talking to him boat to boat, or he's going to meet him on the dock. And he met him on the dock, and they had their little banter between each other until he says, I want to go on the water with you, which they do. Now, am I interested in how this story has been going where they've been friendly to each other? I'll tell you this, it's different. Normally they don't do this. Now, Apollo's not a bad guy, neither is Braun. But usually they try to team them up to do something together. And usually they have them in a tag team, and then that tag team is, can they coexist? This is different. You're not getting Braun in a ring with him. You're not getting Apollo in a ring with him. You're not having them tag together. Kind of like what happened with Taylor Bates. They did that. Eventually you knew they're going to go up against each other. But the way this has been structured was different. Now, I don't know if this is going to be everyone's cup of tea. So I'm not going to tell you it is. Or it isn't. Personally, I liked it because it wasn't the fact that we're showing fishing that I don't know how to fish. And I don't know how to swim either. But it's the point that it is a different way they're going to let two faces deal with each other. Instead of having being in the back and doing a promo segment and then having them wrestle, you let them actually have real life situations where they can be friendly even though they're enemies. In a sense, they're going to eventually butt heads in this match. And I'm fine with that. For me personally, somebody else will not. They're going to say this was boring. But it is a different take on how two faces deal with each other. Now, let's get to Hank Walker versus Charles Dempsey. The only thing that was really interesting there was not Charles wanting to be, Hank felt like he had to prove something because he felt insulted. He said, look, I want to prove that I deserve to be here. Challenge me, boss. He says, fine, I'll stretch your ass out. And they're having a match. Fine, he's trying to do that. But Drew Gulak comes out. Nice. When you look at Drew Gulak, you look at Charlie Dempsey. They're both very similar. Just one has been in the business longer than another, as they would go with it. In the end, Dempsey won. I wasn't surprised. There was no way Hank was going to win. But now the question's going to be, and it's going forward, what is Drew going to be dealing with Charlie? That's the question. Let me see. The next thing I'm going to talk about briefly. Actually, I'm not even going to talk about the tag match between Briggs and Jensen versus Ethan and Blade. I always mispronounce Ethan's name. Or it's Ethan. Yeah, Ethan. Oh, I can't pronounce the guy's name. I always mess up his name. But you know who I'm talking about. I think in this situation, it's not about the match. Yes, there was some type of conflict. There was a miscommunication between the two teams. And they actually showed it when it was Sorika. When they showed her TikTok. I understand it. But do I care about the match? No. Was it a bad match? No. The question's going to be, what is Akita James? When you see the situation, you wonder, why is she trying to get Briggs and Jensen by slipping I think it was Briggs that got the letter in his jacket or shirt when he threw it out. I don't remember. Why? Now, of course, you know what it could be, but the point is, why? I'm not going to say any more than that because it counts on how far they're going to take this. Because yes, they showed tickets. Yes, that is for Deadline, but it's not about then either. It's about afterward. How are they going to book it after that? Or are they just going to drop it after a short amount of time? We don't know. And, well, Thea Hale versus Ivy Dawn. I'm not going to talk about that match because it's not about anything there. This wasn't about what was going on. I already said what's happening between Andre Chase and Duke Hudson. Yes, Thea was a part of it. It's not about that. This is about what's going to happen with Ava Dawn and Abba Fire. The question is where they're going to go with that. You got two women who are giving off a kind of a Celt feel. Abba Fire, who's in the Celt type of thing, and then Aya Dawn, who's being like a witch from Wickham. And if you don't know what Wickham is, it's witch stuff. Or neo-paganism. Don't ask me how I know it. I know it. I just do. I'm very knowledgeable. Doesn't mean I'm naughty. But the point is, what are we going to do? And now a Valkyrie is coming in. I forgot what a Valkyna? Another one who, in a sense, is going to be not a Celt one, but should be more like a Viking one. We got three women that are going to be in Norfolk or Celtic history and culture. So that's actually a very interesting thing. The question is how they're going to book these women. How the story is going to be booked. Got another story there. Now, the women's triple threat for the Iron Survivor Challenge. We got Wendy Chu versus Hartwell versus... Look, do I hate Wendy Chu? No. Do I Falcon Haley. I always have a problem with these women or men pronouncing the names because when they get booked bad, it's hard for me to focus on them. So I don't remember the name correctly. I'm being honest here. I have a tendency, I'm very bad with names anyway, but then when I know these women have not, or men, have not been booked correctly, or really don't have a really good storyline, I botch their names really bad. So I don't really care. And I should, but I don't. This was not about either one of them. This was about Indy Hartwell. Indy has proven herself in the last 3 months, 2 to 3 months, that she has changed. There was no way they were going to let her lose. Last week, when she lost, she shouldn't have. Here, they made up for it. Do I believe that's the right thing to do? No, because she didn't need to lose then, and she could have won here as well. It would have given her even more credibility. And what happened after the match, when she faced Toxic Attraction and Mandy Rose, I'm not surprised she did that. Because she wants to prove that she's the right person that is going to win a Dateline and is going to take the damn title from Mandy Rose. That is just how it's going to be. I got no problem with it. To me, it was done well. It doesn't mean it was perfect, but it was done well enough. I do believe she was selling her neck like that a little too much, but it was what it was. Now, I know I could talk about the Creed brothers and Julius now not being cleared and Ivy actually ousting him because his knee was fine, but she did say something about his ribs. I'm not going any farther than that because I'm going to see how far they're going to do anything with McDonough because it happened once with McDonough. The question is, will it happen again? Will McDonough be involved in anything again? I don't think so because they are doing something with Sheer and Sangha. The question is, I would like to see McDonough involved some more, but I doubt it. But that's as far as they're going to go. But this, I'm telling you right now, and I know I can talk about the Grayson Waller effect story. I'm going to leave that too, because it was very average, the Grayson Waller effect. And seeing Carmelo Hayes, Axiom, Grayson Waller himself, Joe Gacy. Guys, we know. We know all 5 of those guys. They're meant to be there. They're going to talk. And then there was going to be a fight. And there was a fight. I don't even need to do it. It's ad nauseum. They do it in WWE on and off now. Before that, they were doing it ad nauseum. Here, they're still doing it. So there's no reason to talk about it. It's exactly what I expected. What I didn't expect, which, if you see the title of this could work if they go through. If they actually pull the trigger on this and make it stick, I really do believe it will help NXT immensely. And that is Pretty Deadly and the Night Before Christmas poem they wrote. They wrote their own version of Night Before Christmas. It wasn't bad. But then we get the New Day music. I'm saying, what? New Day went to NXT. I should have realized what Drew Gulak. I'm actually interested in this because New Day didn't exist in NXT when it was starting up. Big E and, how can I say this? There was no New Day when NXT was starting up. It was FCW, Xavier Woods, and Biggie Langston. That's it. Kobe had been already on the main roster since 2006. So they never went through the NXT roster. They never won gold there. They never won tag gold. They never won the world title. They never won the North American title or the Cruiserweight title. They won none of that. So now they're there if it sticks. So seeing them come out and they said, you have faced everybody and you wiped them out. But you never faced the second longest reigning champion. They didn't say that, but you get my point. The second longest reigning champion in history, the legends of the main roster. And how about putting those titles up and let us win them and becoming the new NXT WWE champion? Fight broke out quickly, decisively, and New Day looked good. That's why you see the thumbnail, because I am going to use that damn thumbnail. But to me, guys, do I believe this would happen? I hope. NXT has not been very interesting. There's been some moments where, like, Tony D'Angelo had his moments. When it comes to Braun Breaker, yes, Apollo had some good and some off. Joe Gacy along with Abba Rain, it's good, but they need something extra. And now that, unfortunately, when it came to R-Truth blowing out his leg, I believe, I think he hurt himself pretty good. He's done right now. He's not working. I don't know how badly injured he is. I didn't check. But seeing that Kofi and Xavier Woods is there is something I want. I actually want them to be on the NXT roster. You really want to prepare people for the main roster? Let them work with Kofi and Xavier Woods. Let them actually do it. Let them be the ones. Maybe I should change the title from what I was thinking. This could work to they're the ones for NXT. Yeah, there you go. They're the ones for NXT. I truly believe that if you let Kofi and Xavier Woods stay on the NXT roster for a little while, because let's be honest here, what are they going to do now? What are they going to do? They've already gone up against the Bloodline multiple times. They have done the same thing multiple times. I never hate the matches that they give. They do great matches, but we've seen them ad nauseum. We've seen them over and over and over again. We need a change for the New Day. There are no other titles for them to get. Unless Kofi is going to go for the IC title and Xavier Woods is going for the US, which they're not. This is the best option. Let them go to NXT for a while like a Apollo Crews. Hopefully, maybe Drew Gulak will work there for a little while. Let them be there. Let them be on the main, and not on the main roster. Let them be on the NXT roster. They'll have brand new, fresh matches instead of going against Alpha Academy, instead of going up against the Street Profits and Viking Raiders. We've seen them go up against the same people. Yes, they haven't gone up against Hit Row much, but it's not the point. They've faced the same people for years. Let them be on NXT for a little while, at least 3 to 6 months, and then send them back to the main roster. It'll be a fresh start for them. Something new that will make their creative juices flow. This is good for Xavier and Kobe if it's real. If they go to, if they don't show up on SmackDown or Raw, and they only show up on NXT, and they're allowed to be there, I truly believe this will be a fresh start for them. They need something new. They need a fresh start to let their creative juices flow, because they've been doing the same thing with the same fans. Let them be in a smaller venue. Let them work with new workers in the wrestling industry at the performance center. They can teach. This is what I hope for. But that's just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace, y'all.